Good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here at our meeting tonight. There are so many of you here. We are very happy to see all of you. We will start with the roll call, please. Here? Here? Here?
Here.
If you could all please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic of the nation under God, indivisible, with justice. Okay, we need to approve the agenda for the evening. Do I have a motion? Oh, thank you.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. We need the approval of the minutes from the February board meeting. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Dr. Sprout, Superintendent's report.
Thank you, President Berrigan and governing board members. Congratulations to Levine Elementary School for being named a 2022 A+ School of Excellence by the Arizona Educational Foundation. The A+ School of Excellence program is a comprehensive school assessment program that celebrates outstanding schools. Schools complete an extensive application, and if you pass the application process, it's followed by site visits by members of the Arizona Educational Foundation. This designation is valid for a 3.5 year period, and Levine joins Vista del Sur Accelerated Academy, Rogers Ranch School, MC Cash School, and Trailside Point Performing Arts Academy in receiving this prestigious award. The A+ celebration will be in 2 weeks on Thursday, March 31st at the Levine Elementary School Gymnasium. We hope to see you all there, Governing Board. Principal Robert Kaplinger and Assistant Principal Reed Brotherton, would you please come forward? And Governing Board would like to get a picture with our school admin team from Levine Elementary School. Please come up.
Yeah, nice. Behind the banner.
Before Dr. Sprout continues, I just want to say how critical it is to have exceptional schools, and all of our schools are exceptional. This is just an award to make sure that our community and people outside of our community know that. We are incredibly lucky to have the staff, the teachers, everybody there at Levine Elementary School, and as well, all of our parents and our incredible students. They make that an A+ school as well. So thank you, guys.
I am pleased to announce the recipients of the 2021-22 Exceptional Service Awards, the Levine Elementary School District's highest recognition for classified staff. These individuals were nominated and selected for bringing their best to work every single day. All of the recipients display the following attributes: strong attendance and dependability, high quality and quantity of work. They excel at working harmoniously with others. They are experts in their job responsibilities. They regularly show initiative and creatively solve problems, and they provide excellent customer service. Their commitments to our students, staff, and community is greatly appreciated. Please join me in recognizing this year's Exceptional Service Award recipients. And when I read your name, would you please come forward, and we will take a picture up here with the entire group, and we have your, we never know what to call these things, trophy, award to give you as well. And so here we go. Assistant Lead Custodian from Paseo Point, Patrick Apolinar. Trailside Point, Attendance Clerk, Elizabeth Arcienega. MC Cash, Special Education Instructional Associate, Mary Barger. Student Success Instructional Associate from Cheatham Elementary, Lena Bryant. From our Child Nutrition Department, Child Nutrition Specialist, Michelle Hall. From Vista del Sur Accelerated Academy, Attendance Clerk, Erica Hernandez. This next one I had the pleasure of working with for many years. Holly King, Certified Specialist. She's all grown up and getting awards now. So proud of her. Next, from Levine Elementary School, Guest Teacher Instructional Associate, Catalina Kohler. From Estrella Foothills Global Academy, Lead Custodian, Luis Moran Contreras. From Desert Meadows School, Special Education Instructional Associate, Tiffany Oliver. From Rogers Ranch School, Computer Technician, Julie Ostos. Next, from our Support Services Department, HVAC Technician, Elmo Valdez. And from our transportation department, our dispatcher, Kelly White. These employees that were selected this year represent approximately 400 classified staff members that support our instructional program each and every day. Would you please join me in standing and giving them a round of applause? And we would be remiss if we didn't recognize, if you're a family member of one of these folks, would you please stand up as well? Thank you for your support. And our principals will be, and department heads will be picking these up, but from this point forward, our Exceptional Service Award winners will have their name on a plaque in their department or their school. And so when you're there, you should be able to see this and remember this, this wonderful night and the wonderful people that they are. All right, Butch, we're ready to move forward. Congratulations to EFGA student Grayson Checky. Gray took first place in the Region 3 Spelling Bee and will now advance to the state level B this Saturday. Our district, congratulations to Gray. Our district's first place speller, Callista Comlin, also did very well, finished in fourth place at regionals, making it to round 11. Gray, we wish you all the best on Saturday. I know he's practicing, getting ready. Four Levine students are recipients of the Arizona Council for Exceptional Children's I Can Do It Award. These students are recognized for excelling, despite their disability, in academics, arts, athletics, community service, employment, self-advocacy, technology, or independent life skills. Congratulations to the, well, we're going to roll the video, aren't we, Butch? Let's roll the video.
My name is DC McMillan. It stands for Daryl Craig McMillan. I go to Trailside Point Academy, and I'm in 5th grade.
Although it was a challenge for DC in the general education class, he was very determined to be successful. Autism impacted his ability to be as successful as he wanted. Eventually, with his determination, he did flourish academically, socially, and behaviorally. Because of his determination, he has shown great success today. DC successfully transitioned from a self-contained classroom in 3rd and 4th grade to a general education class for 5th grade with resource support. DC has not only shown progress academically, but also socially. He uses a variety of coping skills daily to show tolerance and making good choices with his gen ed peers.
When I grow up, I want to do coding, engineering, and doing YouTube videos on how to do stuff. Gaming videos.
It is with great pleasure to present the Arizona Council for Exceptional Children I Can Do It Award to DC McMillan. Congratulations, DC.
teacher, Miss O'Fahey, Miss Callis, Miss Reese, Miss Davis, Miss Steele, and all the others. I would also like to thank my friends for just being my friends and getting me here. I'd also like to thank my grandma and my mom and my family.
My name is Gilbert, and I'm in 8th grade, and I'm at MC Cash.
Academics and confidence were both issues that Gilbert struggled with, but he never let his specific learning disability get in the way of his learning at high levels.
When I first started school, it was reading and math, and after I got there, I just kept trying my hardest, and this is how I got here now.
He encourages his classmates to do their best, no matter how challenging the task is.
If a classmate were to tell me, oh, I can't do this, I was like, bro, we got this. Just team up with me, we'll get it done in the last few hours. And if we can't, we'll go to our second class and we'll do it in there, and then we'll finish it.
As an 8th grader, Gilbert is able to read grade level text with minimal support, solve multi-digit calculations, and is learning to write multi-paragraph essays.
In the beginning of the year, I really was behind. And so just by reading all these different books, it got me to where I'm at now.
Gilbert is a talented musician. He's hoping to participate in his high school's band next year. He has learned to play the clarinet and the trumpet during his time in school.
My grandpa, he was a musician, and I got it from him. So basically, music is my thing.
Gilbert's unstoppable, and he has sheer determination to succeed at everything that he does.
Unstoppable determination means you're always trying, and if someone tries to put you down, you can't, because you have that confidence.
It is with great pleasure to present the Arizona Council for Exceptional Children I Can Do It Award to Gilbert Olivares Espinosa. Congratulations.
I like to thank my teacher, Mr. Donna, and I like to thank my mom. They helped me to where I'm at now.
Jaylene Pando from Trailside Point Performing Arts Academy in the Levine Elementary School District has shown a tremendous amount of growth in all of her academic, communication, and social skills. She has evolved from a shy kindergartner with only 2 words to her vocabulary to a determined young lady who can share in a conversation with an expansive repertoire. Jaylene is now copying sentences with success, where just a few years ago she was struggling to print her name. During virtual learning, Jaylene really began to shine. Jaylene took ownership of her learning, showed an increased interest, and demonstrated the growth when she returned back to in-person learning. Since then, she's taken it upon herself to engage in homework and her own learning activities after school. It is with great pleasure to present the Arizona Council for Exceptional Children I Can Do It Award to Jaylene Pando. Congratulations.
We have one additional student who was not part of the video, so I'm going to read the write-up that was provided by her teacher, Ms. Hall. And this is for Destiny Rutherford. Although Destiny had trouble reading when she was younger, she realized she was an excellent listener. So starting in 5th grade, Destiny developed an intense focus in an effort to remember everything she heard. She wouldn't let herself be distracted. Her efforts paid off. Destiny achieved the exceeded standards level on the district science test. As the rigor of 6th and 7th grade work increased, Destiny became proficient at drawing inferences, a middle school standard that was very challenging to many students. Destiny continued to work on phonics, and halfway through the 7th grade, she began reading on her own. Today, Destiny is a high-achieving 8th grader. Her voice is soft but proud when she states that the teacher can call on her to read aloud in class. Quote, "I know that even if I don't get a word at first, I can sound it out, and then I will remember it the next time. I'm not worried about high school now." Would you please join me in congratulating, and I would ask these students to please come forward. Jaylene, DC, Gilbert, and Destiny, would you please come forward? We do have one additional tribute from the I Can Do It Awards ceremony, a recognition of student, Paseo Point student Carlos Gaspar, who passed away this year.
We would like to honor one of our past I Can Do It 2016 award winners. This school year, Carlos Gaspar, along with his two loving parents, were hit by a drunk driver and tragically died. Everyone who knew Carlos, aka Carlitos, knew that he had that I can do it attitude. He didn't let anything discourage him. He had significant structural bony abnormalities, which required him to manipulate objects in a non-standard manner. He had strong opinions about what adaptations he would like to use and really made the opinions known. Carlos was an excellent advocate for himself. Carlos has a great legacy. He will be remembered by his peers forever. He will be remembered for the way he made them feel, the jokes he told, the smiles he gave, and the friends he loved. We love you and miss you forever, buddy.
Let's give Carlos and his memory and his family a round of applause. And our condolences continue to go to his family. Levine was recently recognized with 2 awards by the Arizona School Public Relations Association. We received the Copper Medallion Award, which recognizes comprehensive and well-planned organization-wide public relations programs, as well as an Award of Excellence for the Levine Online Academy's multi-marketing campaign. Thank you to our communications coordinator, Kristen Landry, and congratulations. Councilwoman Yasemin Ansari visited Desert Meadow School last week in an effort to identify areas that could be improved with funding from the infrastructure bill. This is funding that would impact our entire community, not just the school district. Members from the Councilwoman's team and the Levine community groups joined Levine personnel to discuss potential infrastructure, sustainability, and technology improvements. And this is where the district works very closely with the city to make Levine a great place to live. And so we thank the Councilwoman for this, and it was a great time with her. So thank you very much. Levine Elementary School 8th grade student Julian Torres was featured in Hollister Company's Instagram page. He was chosen to speak about Levine's Mindful School program as part of the Hollister Confidence Project. The Hollister Instagram page has 5 million followers, and Julian represented Levine well as he spoke about the impact that mindfulness has had in his own life. To quote Julian, "I learned mindfulness through my school, which really helped me to learn how to identify where emotions reside in my body and how to process them." Great job, Julian. And Julian, would you please come forward to be recognized? We also have certificates for Destiny Gilbert, DC, and Jaylene. So families, before you leave, let's get these to you. Last month, Levine School hosted a Special Olympics field day. It was awesome. Eligible students from around the district participated in a variety of activities, including soccer, bocce ball, giant Jenga, a relay race, and volleyball. This gave students the opportunity to build upon their physical education and social emotional skills, and it was a wonderful time. Each year, Levine schools participate in a penny drive to benefit the Levine Lions Club, money that is immediately invested back in our community. The Lions then use the funding to support Levine students and families. This year's penny drive raised over $8,500. Desert Meadows raised the most money as a school, over $1,700, and will receive a plaque and a pizza party. Classrooms that raised the most money will award pizza parties as well. Would Principal of Desert Meadows, J.P. Ketchum, please come forward? Congratulations. Moving on to our employees of the month. Santos Herrera, fourth grade teacher at Paseo Point, is our certified employee of the month. Mr. Got some fans there in the back. Mr. Herrera pushes his students to excel in the classroom and supports them outside of the classroom as well. Nominated by a parent and coworker, he is known to devote an abundance of time to his students. He coaches soccer and attends many other extracurricular activities to cheer his students on. His students know they are loved and can count on Mr. Herrera to support them. He communicates well with parents, staff, and administrators, sending out weekly emails, and is always prompt to respond to any concerns or questions. He is also a positive teammate to every staff member at Paseo and is willing to chip in to help to support his colleagues. One of our district's commitments to our employees is to provide opportunities for advancement within the district. And I'm very proud to say that Santos worked his way up from a guest teacher instructional associate at Rogers Ranch all the way up to a teacher leader at Paseo. Congratulations, Santos Herrera. Would you please come forward? Yeah.
If I could just say one thing about Mr. H, he's not only an amazing teacher, a celebrity in my house, but a celebrity in Levine. He could go anywhere for trick-or-treating, but he drives all the way down here to make sure he passes out candy every Halloween to make sure his kids get Halloween candy from his teacher. And then he gives his time during the week to coach soccer, and he's at kids' games that he doesn't even coach. So that shows what an exemplary teacher and that you are. So thank you so much.
Mr. Roloff.
Say anything more that hasn't been said, but Mr. H is an exemplary employee, exemplary person. And we talked about it with Sam Point that we're the Ram family. And he's definitely one of our cornerstones at the Sale Point as a family member. He makes everybody feel like home. As you can tell by the students back here. So I think our Sale Point students, maybe we should get a little chant going. What about Mr. So, thank you guys. Good job.
Absolutely.
Our classified employee of the month is Adrian Soto, Assistant Lead Custodian at EFGA. Adrian is always friendly and professional. He is quick to help out wherever he is needed and whenever he is needed. He is the first to volunteer to help out with events outside of the school day. In addition to working as assistant lead custodian, he also coaches soccer. He is great at building relationships with students and helping out wherever he can. He successfully works and communicates well with his colleagues and school staff, going above and beyond to support the staff so that they can focus on the students. He works tirelessly to ensure that the EFGA campus stays beautiful and keeps everything working properly. He is referred to as the Energizer Bunny, as he seems to have endless amounts of energy, always looking for things to do or ways in which to help. I will also add on a personal note, he is an incredible chef and has treated the EFGA and yours truly to some outstanding food. Our classified employee of the month, Adrian Soto.
You know, when it comes to maintenance guys, like, we all know them and the front office staff and the ones that come If they don't do their job, it makes us look really, really bad. Well, when Luis is your lead, it's like, how do you begin to find somebody with as much energy as Luis? And wow, did we find that in Adrian? You do so much for our school, for our entire community. The kids love him. When the most sought out after job or purchase to make in the Scorpion Den with their stamps is to help Mr. Adrian lead. Is this, but it's because they want to spend time with him. He truly cares and loves our kids, and we just can't thank you enough. So well deserved.
Yeah. You will, if you have not been to Estrella Foothills, you will see what a beautiful campus it is. And our two custodians, our lead and our assistant lead, were recognized tonight. You know, our commitment, community members and parents, is to provide this community with not only a great education, but beautiful campuses. And so they are a reflection of all of our custodial team, our support services team, our grounds teams, all who work to make our campuses beautiful for this community. And so we really appreciate them. And these two represent exactly what we have throughout our district on those teams. So thank you. And now we are going to turn it over to Trailside Point School for our classroom spotlight, Principal Brett Humphrey.
Good evening, President Berrigan, members of the board, Dr. Sprout, honored guests, and thank you especially to the families that showed up. Quick note, I called quite a few parents thinking, maybe somebody would have something to, that would conflict with tonight, and nope. Everyone's here, and I just appreciate that community support. So thank you to the families that are here as well. My name is Brett Humphrey. I am the principal of Trailside Point School, for those that don't already know me. This is my 15th year in the Levine School District, and I am incredibly grateful to be working for the many staff, students, and families that make Trailside Point and the Levine School District such a great place. I'm also very grateful for the resources that have been provided regarding curriculum and instruction and technology. Thank you to the board, Kathy Davis, the Academic Services Department, for providing our students with what they need to learn. But one of the things that you can have the best of the best when it comes to curriculum and instruction, and you can have the best Chromebooks, but it takes people that really make that powerful difference. So Tonight I'm going to introduce Mr. Ronquillo, one of our 6th grade teachers at Trailside Point. They want to clap? Go ahead, it's fine. Mr. Ronquillo is an exceptional teacher, an exceptional person, an exceptional mentor and leader of our students, spending time outside of the classroom and in the classroom, mentoring and coaching and doing all kinds of amazing things. And I have some look-forwards when I'm talking about people and people that instruct the students of our community. I look for innovative thinking, trying new strategies, learning from mistakes, and getting better every day. And he and I have had a lot of conversations. We have that growth mindset, and I appreciate that. And we talk a lot about at Trailside invisible work. There is so much work, and this goes for everyone. There's so much work that we do on a daily basis that keep a school or an organization flowing and running well. And we call that invisible work because you might not get a thank you, or you might not get a shout out here and there, but there's so much invisible work that we talk about, and he does that. The other thing is I look for teacher engagement. When I'm walking through classrooms, I'm looking at the teacher is maximizing every single instructional minute, and that's called teacher engagement. Student engagement is also extremely, extremely important, making sure students are learning at grade level and they're doing tasks that are moving them along in their journey. And I'm also looking for rigorous instruction. So I'm proud to introduce Mr. Ronquillo, who embodies those things. Mr. Ronquillo uses the district-adopted Study Sync ELA curriculum in 6th grade, and he creates innovative, motivating, and impactful lessons. He uses the curriculum that is aligned to state standards. He doesn't just have kids do things to do things. You can really feel the kids are bought in and engaged in the learning, and that is a powerful trait. The other thing is, he also goes outside of the classroom to mentor. I have so many examples of him asking me if he can guide or mentor a student maybe that he's coaching or that just needs some extra support. I'm like, you don't have to ask me. You can go do that. That's what we do, and that is really powerful. So I'd like to welcome him up, and he's going to share more about what it is like to be in Mr. Ronquillo's class. And believe me, you want to be in his classroom.
All right, I'm going to be super honest. I'm nervous, but let's get through this. Good evening, President Barragan, members of the board, and Dr. Sprout. My name is Jairo Ronquillo. I'm a 6th grade teacher at Trailside Point. I'm extremely grateful to be working in a school that encourages us to be innovative. I'm also grateful for my students. Each of them brings something special and unique to the classroom, and they never fail to amaze me. I strive to create a safe learning environment for all of my students in my classroom, and the way we achieve that it starts with mindset, but more specifically, growth mindset. I emphasize that failure is an opportunity for growth. I don't judge my students on their failures. I judge them based on how they respond to them. And after all, failure is the greatest teacher. So, but only if you have the right mindset. The second thing that is heavily emphasized in my classroom is student-centered instruction. Student-centered instruction encourages students to take ownership of their learning. By taking part in group discussions, leading small groups, and working independently, students learn to teach themselves and become more self-sufficient. The third and most important piece is authenticity. Lessons that students, these types of lessons allow students to make deeper connections with the content using real-world connections. This makes the lessons more impactful and just a lot more meaningful to the students. Most people know when something is authentic and serves a real purpose in their lives. That is why the last piece is so essential, and that's making sure that you're teaching with an intention. Maybe you're making sure that you're teaching small groups with the purpose of expanding understanding, or maybe you're challenging your gifted students with critical thinking questions to allow them to carry their knowledge further than just a classroom. Whatever the goal may be, making sure that you have a clear objective is essential for all your students. All four of these things are highly encouraged throughout Study Sync. To close, I would love to have my students give you guys a glimpse of what we do on a regular basis through reciprocal reading. Reciprocal reading is a strategy for reading, and it starts with predicting. Students predict what the text is going to be about make predictions on characters, on specific events, things like that. After that, they move on to clarifying. When you clarify, you are looking for unknown vocabulary terms or ideas, and you're trying to clarify what they all mean and what they stand for. The third thing is questioning. You're questioning characters' choices, or in a piece of text, or maybe different themes or situations that happen in a story. And then last is you're summarizing. You're bringing all of that together, and you're kind of tying it up, trying to make sure that you, at this point, understand everything and tie up any misconceptions. So we'll be doing reciprocal reading with you guys today, and hopefully the conversations that you have are just as impactful as the ones that we have in our classroom. And my students that I brought over today are, we have Dalen Ware, I-Marie Hamilton, Jaden De La Torre, Jaden Miller, Samantha Kumar, Darren Alcantar, Alyssa Daniels, Sebastian Castillo, Zoe Reed Hatter, Zaire Reed Hatter, Alyssa Clark, Trey Love, and Abigail Velasquez.
Is it the name of a book?
It's like a series, or diaries, there's different,
Okay.
it's like a book series. But they- Yeah, I recommend that one. They can keep the tickets though. Oh, I can't keep the tickets. Those are my niece, all right?
All right.
You take them. We just keep these.
All right, guys, you can come.
I see. I know. I know.
As a quick thank you, first of all, I hope you kept the Panther bucks that they handed you, because those are worth $10 in the Panther store, and that's a big deal. You might be able to.
Just would
Lot
like
of
to
things.
add
And also, on behalf of our staff, we have a staff member who created some some shirts for you guys. So some shirts over there for you. So that is one of our staff members did that for you. So again, thank you.
I think Ms. Ward wants to say something. Mr. Humphreys?
I just want to say how important this is. I was invited to join, I mean, of all things, a book club. And I joined and I realized I'm an avid reader, but I surface read. I don't want to know why the author thought what he did. This is amazing. I wish that I would have learned so I could join a book club if nothing else. Thank you.
So Miss Ward will be in your class tomorrow, Mr. Ronquillo.
Mr. Ronquillo and students, would you please come up and we can get a picture with you all?
All right, guys. Back to the sponsor.
I know which one I will go.
He said he bought it.
All right. So, parents, thank you for being here tonight and for your support of your children. And students, as Ms. Ward said, you did an outstanding job. Mr. Ronquillo, thank you so much for your leadership in the classroom as well. Board, I have to tell you, we've had a soccer theme tonight. You look at Mr. Ronquillo and you think of this calm, quiet, kind of not real loud. Watch him coach soccer, and you will see a very different Mr. Ronquillo. And they happen to win the district championship this year, so congratulations. Tonight, we remember Desert Meadows kindergarten teacher, Ms. Katie Patton, who suddenly passed away last month. Ms. Patton was in her second year teaching at Desert Meadows and was greatly loved by her students and coworkers. Our condolences to her family and the staff, students, parents of the Desert Meadows community, and we would ask at this moment if we would have a moment of silence in her honor. Thank you. And President Berrigan, that concludes our superintendent's report. Oh, we got one more thing. One of our long-term employees, I don't know how long, Mary, it's been, but and is recognized this year as an Exceptional Service Award winner, Mary Barger. If you would please come forward. Congratulations again, Mary. And that is the end of our superintendent's report.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Sprout. Much to celebrate and some sad news too. We're with our thoughts and prayers are with those families that are suffering right now. We will go ahead and take a break. And if you'd like to stay for the business portion of our meeting, you're welcome to do so. But we appreciate you sharing your kids with us this evening and letting us celebrate and learn from them. And if you don't choose to stay, we hope you enjoy your evening. So we'll take a brief break. Thank you, everybody. We will resume the meeting. We have the consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Any discussion? Been motion and seconded. All those in favor? Motion carries. And we have some action items this evening. The adoption of some social studies curriculum. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Wait for Ryan. Okay. It's been motion and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. And then next we have the Estrella Foothills Global Academy international trip to Costa Rica. That should be an excellent time, as well as having an excellent opportunity to have some international exposure for these students. I love this idea.
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We are,
No discussion?
did we discuss?
You didn't say no.
I'm sorry, I skipped it. Go ahead. Feel free to.
Can I go too?
We will look into that. My computer just died.
Do you want mine?
There's a long line of adults ready to go on this trip.
I got my pen.
Mine just died. My computer died. Okay, new district parent liaison. This is through, I think, McKinney-Vento, is that right? Yep. And do we have any discussion? Oh, excuse me. Can I have a motion?
Motion?
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? Do you want in on this one too? No. Okay. And it's been motion and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Next is the pay rates for the classified summer school positions. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We have the clinical experience agreement with the Maricopa County Community College District.
Motion? Second.
Been motioned and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next, we have the independent audit and USFR compliance questionnaire. I expect there will be lots of questions about this. Because you've all read it in depth.
Motion.
That's Ryan's as well. Motion. Yeah, I know. And we appreciate you being here in case we did have any questions. Do you want to say anything, Mr. Haggerty?
Just very briefly, if I
Please.
can.
Yep.
Waddle up to the mic.
Yeah, go slow.
No,
Don't hurt the other knee.
don't want to go down again. Anyway, yes, Madam President, members of the board, just very briefly, you know, it feels good to get these kinds of audits every year. We had no findings in here. The questionnaire came through really clean. And I'd be remiss not recognizing Anita Purcell because she's the one that coordinates all this. And she's been doing it for years and she's really good at it. And she works with all the other folks that help make this such a good, clean audit. And of course, Nicole Weecraft is the audit lead and she's here to answer any questions, but she's tough. But that's what we want because we always want to make sure we use our audits to get better. So just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Mr. Haggerty. This is an audit to be proud of. You guys do great work in your department, and I know it's coordination of other departments and coordination of the school sites. And while I enjoy an audit, and I do because it does give you an opportunity to learn what you're doing well and what you can do better, the coordinating of things ahead of time, not my favorite part of things. So thank you for doing that work, Anita. And we need to do, what's that? Okay, we do need to do a roll call vote. That is new this year in accordance with Arizona Revised Statute. So Elsa, please. Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that motion carries. The easement extension for the cell tower at Trailside Point.
Motion. Second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We are on to comments from the board. Dr. Centers?
What a great board meeting.
Yeah.
What a great way to celebrate. I mean, when you hear like all the special needs when they say we can do it, that's very, very moving. But then to see about the A+ school in the midst of all of the adversity, like there's still a lot of pain that we faced, but it exemplifies like the power of community working together. So hats off to you guys.
Dr. Watkins?
Just overjoyed tonight. Really good. Just hopefully what we're about. It's just good to see everyone's face. Getting through that pandemic. I think as a team, you did a great job. Just very proud.
Anderson?
Well, I must say, work hard, achieve amazing things. So
Mm-hmm.
really appreciate all of your hard work, leadership, parents, even students, just doing their best to make great things happen. And just a shout out to Cheatham. I've seen Student of the Month signs around the neighborhood. So that's been super fun to see. I can help celebrate the families within the neighborhoods on that. So that's pretty awesome.
Board.
First, I want to say I've had this thought for a couple of weeks now, and it just to all of the teachers or to all the people in the room, for teachers make such a difference. Just think back, and I'll bet most of you can name almost all of your teachers. And so every child you're teaching has that exact same experience. They're going to remember all of you, and so thank you for that. And my kids graduated 30 years ago or 25 years from Levine School. And to see it in A+ school, you guys have no idea what that does to my heart. So what a great meeting. Thank you.
Absolutely. You know what, Fern, I had some slightly different comments, but you mentioned teachers, and I'm going to mention one tonight, and I know she's not listening, but it's important to thank these people. My parents were recently transferred. We moved here in the 8th grade, which here in 8th grade, that means you're the last year at a school, whether it's junior high or an elementary school. It's a tough time to move. But I had incredible teachers throughout that grade, and in particular, a woman named Mrs. Prohl. She was my ELA teacher. She was a little bit eccentric. She let me cut her hair in class. I babysat her kids. Most of those things are not acceptable these days. But she really encouraged me to start believing more in myself and that I had the ability to do the work that I needed to do. And I know that most of you in this room were teachers at one point in time and continue to teach in different ways and different aspects, even if you're the head of a department. And it's incredible work. It's difficult work, but it's definitely rewarding work. So rather than my comments, I'm going to piggyback off of those and appreciate the opportunity to share that. Okay, so we have the next board meeting on April 14th. Flying by. We're like rounding the bend for the end of the year. That is so hard to believe. We need to adjourn this meeting and we will move into a study session. I motion to adjourn. Can I have a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. And we will start with the 5-year capital plan. Mr. Haggerty.
And salutations again. We bring this to you every year. We update based upon changes and things that happen during the course of a year. The plan is a fluid plan because our business changes throughout time. So we always make sure we update this with the latest we've got. And do I have control, Butch? Okay, thanks. So I'm going to start off and kick it back to Dr. Sprout to talk about what we're doing going forward.
Yeah, Board, before Kevin begins, I wanted to take an opportunity to share with you, in addition to what Kevin's going to present tonight, that we have formed a 10-year infrastructure planning team to plan for the long-term future of our school district. We know that the next 10 years are going to be periods of incredible growth, but at some point that is going to be level off. And the purpose of this committee is to make sure we have a plan for the growth as well as the peak and the plateau. And that everything that we do is built towards that, and also that it is sustainable for the future of our district. Examples of the subcommittees on this planning committee: we have a technology subgroup, facilities. Obviously, we know how to build schools, but also figuring out what facilities we're going to need to as we max our growth, our transportation system. Two of our biggest expenses are staffing. What will our staffing look like when we hit that peak? And also our salaries and benefits. And you've heard stories about school districts that haven't been able to maintain their commitments on a salary level and a benefits level for their employees. we are very, focused on making sure that whatever we do in our salaries and our benefits is sustainable for the long term. Also, we are expanding some of our schools. We've added a kindergarten class this year at Vista that will move through the school. We have other, considerations there. So do we make some of our schools larger? And then obviously safety and security. So Kevin's going to give you a 5-year capital plan update and a construction update. I just wanted you to also know that you will be hearing from this committee in the future about as we look longer down the road and begin predicting what things will look like in about 10 years. So with that, I'll turn it back over to our CFO.
Thank you. Yeah, and when you look on the books and see how many, we have 9,000 homes and apartments scheduled over the next 3 years. Anybody frightened about that? I am, because that's a lot of stuff that's going to be going on. Huh? 9,000 that are on the books. That doesn't mean they're moving dirt on them yet, but these are all ones that have put in applications and all that. But I mean, if you just look down Dobbins Road here, Ashton Woods has got a 650 units. They're going through phase 1 right now, and they started moving dirt. It was just like overnight. So it's coming, and we got to be ready for it. So what Dr. Sprout just talked about, I think is going to be critical to make sure we have the infrastructure to support what's going to be happening as we roll forward. Now, I guess I need to start pushing buttons here. We do a it's mandated, but a preventive maintenance program, but we do it anyway because it's the right way to run things. But we do bring to this board every year a preventive maintenance report that gets approved by this board, and we turn that into the school facilities board who reviews these, and they probably file them someplace and never look at them again. But we do these because we do want to make sure we're maintaining our facilities appropriately. As our buildings are aging, it's really weird to talk about as district with as many new buildings as we've got. Actually, our warranties are running out. We've got a lot of our roofing and some of our major building components are getting to the point where it's time to start replacing them. So we build that into our capital plan. We also apply for money with what's known as building renewal grants. This last year, we spent almost $1 million at Trailside Point, putting a roof on the building. Well, its sister school, Desert Meadows, is going to be needing one here at the same time. Now at this time. But when you look at the cost of everything, we did it for a little less than $1 million. Right now, we're projecting $1.3 million for that next roof. That's being paid by the state, but we've got to go through their process to get that money. So we've gotten 16 building renewal grants awarded in the last 12 months, but we've also billed another 109,000. So I think Robert Jacobson and his crew are doing a great job, and they're doing as much as they can to get as much of this supported by the state, which is the state's charge. Now, we life cycle maintain our buildings, which means we look at the building components and say, how long is that AC going to last? How soon does that carpet need to be replaced? When does that paint need to be done? And those are all put on schedules. Now, just because we build it in that based on industry standards doesn't mean that's when we do it, because we do such a good job of maintaining it that sometimes we're able to stretch those out beyond what industry standards normally call for. But we do build our projections based on those, but the actual happens based upon when do you really need to have it. So this is a slide that I love to put up because it really speaks to if you do it right. If you do it right, for every dollar that you invest in preventive maintenance, you save $5 in reactive maintenance. And, it's a great graphic, but those two numbers right there just speak volumes. And that's why I'm really glad that we stay on the front end of almost everything that we see. I mean, obviously, things that are mechanical are going to break. Sometimes they surprise you. But wherever we can, we're always planning for it, and we set aside money to make that happen. Now, for the 5-year plan itself, when you look at the infrastructure, what are we looking for? Well, we need land for a new school, number 11. Remember, number 10 is online school. And we also need to get land for school number 12. Presently in the process of working on those, and you've been updated on our progress on that so far. And I guess we have to really start getting aggressive with some folks down at the SFB because they're the ones that are going to pay for the land. But then we have to build them. And even though the School Facilities Board believes that we are not going to need a school till 5 years down the road, I think they are way off the mark. And we have had those conversations with them and shown them that their data is not really good. But what really speaks to it is when our average daily membership, which is how they calculate whether we need a school or not, starts going through the roof. And we're just seeing these homes, those kids are coming. Those kids are coming. We're enrolling for next year already from some of these new developments. They're not in our schools yet. They're finishing up where they are, but we're going to see a real bubble coming. And we've got to be ready for that. So we'll construct school number 11 and school number 12, but we have to have the land first. We're going to be making some modifications in this facility because we have to have infrastructure to support all the new kids that are coming in. And as Dr. Sprouse said, we got to have some capacity at our current sites. I'll just give you one example. Remember Vista, we added a kindergarten this year. Next year, it's going to be an extra section of first grade that's going to run out of capacity. We're going to have to expand that facility. So on the roofing, we've talked about Desert Meadows coming up, but also Vista del Sur, which is our oldest school in the system right now. HVAC, the normal life cycle is 12 to 15 years for these package units. The schools with an X are over 12 years. So that's when they're over the 12-year mark. But again, we honored someone tonight, Elmo Valdez, that is one of our HVAC guys. He's one of the guys that makes sure those things last as long as they can, and we squeeze everything we can out of them. Actually, he cannibalizes old units to keep the other ones going. He's really a magician. Exterior painting, again, just shows you when we're expecting to paint these buildings. Over time, we got to keep them sealed. We want to keep them waterproof, and we want to keep them looking nice. Interior flooring, we got quite a bit that we were working on this year. And then you can see how we spaced out the rest of them over time. So again, some schools wear it out a little quicker than others. Some has to do with the material at a point in time, but we stay on top of it. And the better our maintenance crew does of keeping that stuff up, the longer we can actually make it last. A flooring life cycle is typically 10 years. Typically 10 years. The safety security, I should probably put X's across every year in every facility because we stay on top of this. This is the big one. So they're going to be upgrading our security system rolling forward. We're going to eliminate our old Honeywell systems, and we're going to a Bosch system, which we're right now test driving our card reader systems. I know Paradise Valley's got some, and we're looking at a similar model because if somebody loses a key, they have access to the whole campus. But if you lose the card, you just turn it off. So those are the kind of things we're going to be looking for. I think it'll really boost our security in our sites. Parking lots, we're getting them all resealed, scheduled this summer. So again, if you ever seen asphalt what they call it alligator, it looks like it's got that alligator back to it. The water gets through. We seal these things so that doesn't happen, and it really extends the life. Now, what we also do, you notice this says capital investing. We don't call it capital cost because we look at really staying on top of everything, investing in these things because that's how you get a return. You get that return in a lot of ways, but we refresh, we renew, we increase our technology based on what's going on at a point in time. We upgraded our phone system this year. We refresh our teacher laptops periodically to keep them up to date with everything. Got to keep them ahead of the kids. We renewed our iBoss cloud. The iBoss cloud by itself is interesting because it protects the students' internet access, keeps them away from the bad people and the bad people away from them. So, we actually implemented that last year, where we replace our aging school buses and the white fleet, and we increase the inventory only when we have growth or we make changes with our open boundaries where we need to provide additional services. And we also renew our licenses and add licenses based upon our district approved curriculum. Now, when we talk again about some of these in more detail, information technology. We've got the old smart boards out there. They're going away. We're putting in the Promethean boards. So they're not going to be projectors anymore. Like we got projectors up here firing these things over. There'll be touchscreen TVs in every room. And we're doing that over a 2-year period. I'm excited about that one. Eddie loves it too. I got to look at our technology people. They do a fantastic job. And these guys are stressed every day, but they still show up and they still smile. I don't know what they drink at night, but it works for them. No, they come in happy the next day. We always continue to replace our obsolete devices too. And, oops, I think I jumped ahead on one of mine. But the exterior cameras at our schools, those things, need to be upgraded periodically. Right now, we've got some that I couldn't tell if it was a person or an animal on some of these cameras. So we are doing this over a 2-year period of time. We're also looking to some of the dark places to make sure we have coverage everywhere. Again, talked about replacing the teacher laptops, and we just recently upgraded the servers at our schools and the LEC. And we always have to look at those because as we add devices, we have to add capacity to be able to support them. Did I miss anything, Eddie? Okay, making sure. The guy in the know right there. We will always continue to maintain that one-to-one. I think that's a commitment we made, and we've been sticking with it, and it's in all of our grade levels. And we will continue anything that's obsolete, or if a kid bounces one off the ground, we replace them. But we also, going forward, are going to continue with our dark fiber project, and that's when we have to wire up, light some fiber, because we are our own provider internally with that internet access, and we'll light up some dark fiber in there in our 2 new schools going forward. So, academic and technology. Well, again, you can see where we're planning on spending money. And the most important ones that I would point to are the curriculum adoptions in here, because we're going to be doing these right away. You can see the social studies curriculum in 1st through 5th grade, and then again in the 6th or 8th grade in the following year. The science will be around $500,000. The social studies in grade 1 through 5, about $400,000, and 6 through 8, about another $500,000. We've got money for this. We always build this into our plan. We always look to make sure that we can support all that. The Promethean boards again, we've got money reserved for this, but that price tag is $1.7 million. But like I said, we do have the money, and we're ready to move with that project. Now, when we look at our vehicles, we're not going to increase our buses. When we haven't bought buses in 2 years, but when we did buy the last batch, normally we trade in the old buses. We didn't do that. And there were 2 reasons for that. The first reason was we wanted to see what the new school was going to cause in terms of extra needs and capacity. So we hung on, we actually increased the fleet, but with really old buses. And then the following year, of course, we were all COVIDed up, so we really didn't need to get another bus. So we're only spending the money when we need to. Even with this, we're not going to increase buses, but we are going to replace buses. But we will increase by a 1/2 ton crew cab pickup. That's going to make our maintenance folks a little bit more efficient, I think, because our 3/4 tons we want on job sites working. The 1/2 ton can be used for going and picking up parts and those kinds of things. We're going to replace 5 of our 84 passenger buses and 3 of our sped buses. That's a big order this year, but again, this is the first time in 3 years we're buying buses. But we're also getting rid of 11 buses. So we are going to decrease the inventory by getting rid of 11 of our buses that were built in 2006. We try not to have buses in the system longer than 12 to 15 years because then these cost more to maintain than it is for the price of a new one and all the upgrades that we put in. The pickup trucks are all going to have utility beds and lift gates. Again, it helps our maintenance people avoid injuries and also makes them more productive. And we have one passenger car, number 40 is 15 years old. And that thing, I think, spends more time in the shop than anything. Now, we're also in the process of upgrading our camera systems on the buses, which I think will be a little higher resolution and work really well with the computers and the monitors that we're putting in the offices there.
Is that a 1-passenger car, as in there's only 1 passenger in the car, or we're
It's
getting one
one-
of a passenger car?
one-
Got it.
Passenger car, yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. And we talk about going green. We talked about this before, and, blue skies and butterflies. We are looking at propane as a possibility for some of our buses. Again, there are limitations for some of these going green. And also looking at the electrical vehicles. We've already put some infrastructure in that we can charge a couple of buses and a couple of vehicles. We don't have the vehicles yet. But we had this grant that allowed us to do that, so we went ahead and did that. Now we're looking for grants to pay for the upcharge on these things because the cost of an electric bus is about double a regular diesel bus. So we're looking for something, we'll buy the bus for the cost of a diesel if we can get the grant that will pay the upcharge. Have you seen that yet, Jill, or those? Have you
I
guys
did
had
not
any?
know that it was double. That's
Yeah, that's,
The things that we talked with Councilwoman Ansari about, and that's the type of money that those are the kinds of things that can be purchased with the infrastructure bill. So.
okay.
Yeah. And again, we're a great place for that. We've been talking about actually right outside of here, putting in 9 parking spaces, because all it is gravel right now. Put in a little transformer, we could have some quick charge stations out here. The city is looking to have their vehicles charge someplace here, and we're close to the freeway, so we'd look at a system of that magnitude. So I think the opportunity is there. It's a matter of getting the grant money, getting the infrastructure, and I think we're going to be in a pretty good place. So, so there would be some little digging. You've probably seen already out here, we've had some less than happy neighbors. Less than happy. Because the balls come over the fence sometimes or go through the fence. And so you can see we expanded the fence about 3 times the size of what it was before down the sides. So I think we're being a good neighbor over there too. I do have this for questions, but just one last point. We passed a bond in 2015 for $42 million. We issued about $7.5 million when we were building Paseo Point. And then we another $15.2 million in October of 2019. It's almost all used up. The last of that money is being used for the preschool over at Desert Meadows. So we still got a little over 19,000 left to issue. And depending upon how things go with the state and whether they're going to fund our next schools or not, will dictate when we issue that money and actually utilize it. So questions on the 5-year plan?
Any questions?
Question on the land acquisition.
Yes.
It's over 2 years. Just the parcels are kind of split.
Well, no,
Or is kind of not sure when those funds would be needed.
Well, it's not that it's more that it takes 2 years to go through a process. So it's not like we're going to spend money in 1 year and then spend it in the next. It's possible. But for example, one of the parcels is they want it on a long-term lease, and that's another governmental agency. Well, now all this stuff has to go through a whole battery of attorneys because they've never done it before. So we're trying to train them on how to do it, but we're blazing new territory, just like we did when we built the EFGA. Nobody had done that before, but we don't have 4.5 years to wait like that took 4.5 years. We don't have that kind of time. And the other thing is getting the state to say, okay, and they're going to pay for it. So.
Just a clarification question.
Sure.
On curriculum, is it approximately $5,000 per grade level, or was it like the 1 through 5?
Oh, it was 1 through 5 for 500,000 on that one.
500,000.
Yes. I'm sorry. So
About
about every 5 years.
So $500,000 every 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds
Yep.
like a good deal.
Yeah. and most of it's online stuff too. We're basically buying that access to the online system through our Chromebooks.
And then one other question would be,
Yes.
if the board is saying that the funding that we get to build schools is saying that we're not ready, but this district is deeming that it is ready, how does the funding work in that?
It's a really good question. I
Kevin
know
beats them to a pulp until they agree. And he will.
We've had some interesting discussions on this already. And what SFB is required, the School Facilities Board is the conduit we get our money through. And they ask the legislature based on their numbers when they're going to get the funding so the legislature can stay ahead of the curve. Typically, the legislature funds it over a 2-year period. They may fund half the school 1 year, half the school the next. And just to give you an example, when we actually didn't think EFGA was going to be paid by the state, but we were able to jump through a little window there and we got it. But they still did it over 2 years. But the contractor knew that. They knew they weren't going to get paid, except for over that 2-year period. But that's how they had to appropriate the money for us. Right now, it's the discussion of make sure you tell the legislature to get our money now so we can get one of these things in the can, because we need to have this stuff locked up. And besides that, this old guy's going to retire sometime, and I don't want to leave this undone. So I want to make sure we have everything set up. Yeah. Other questions?
I just had a comment. I think it's very wise to go to the Promethean boards. The projectors are extremely expensive. They cause a lot of extra heat in a classroom. We don't need extra heat in a classroom.
Yes.
And the bulbs to replace are very expensive. So I think that's a wise move.
Yeah.
Very good.
Oh, I agree.
Can't wait to see
It is exciting. When I see this stuff, I get goosebumps. It's And it's fun to see that stuff go in.
Okay.
Other questions?
No, any other
Okay.
questions? And are you doing our current and proposed construction projects update
I
too?
am.
All right.
And I'm not going to take a ton of time on this, but Robert Jacobson is not available to us this evening, so
Okay.
look at me and say, okay, Robert.
I
Okay.
texted him, he turned the air conditioning on for us, though, finally.
Yeah.
Did you feel it now?
Finally. Yeah. Yeah, I saw sweaters going on, so I'm assuming that
I think he turned it way down.
now we've got frostbite. Okay. Okay. Okay, some of the projects that we're working on and going to work on, the preschool construction project at Desert Meadows, it is, moving the dirt, getting the footers poured. I always love these things with the concrete. They it looks like a giant scorpion. But you can see this thing just coming out of the ground, and hopefully you've had a chance to go over to Desert Meadows. I know Michelle has.
Be happy to set that up, and I'll have Elsa email you. And it's a very nice building.
It's a beautiful building. It's being built by Chase, the same company that built Sail Point. But it is good to see this stuff coming out of the ground. We are making sure we're using block. We don't use tilt panel anymore. This is a much better product, I think. Steel girders and infrastructure. Looking at that coming in, you can see the Chase signs, so they know who they are. They put safety measures in. You can see what they put in there so for people to walk through off the sidewalk and not have materials fall on them. The driveway coming in from the east side. I'm going to back up there just for a minute, only because part of this project, we're actually adding a little bit longer drive in there. So, every one of our schools has, when you get there and when you're leaving, it's always mayhem. And in this one, because it's only got access from one point, it's exacerbated a little bit. But it is like a 15-minute exercise. But last year, JP, the principal, actually moved some things around to help ease some of that congestion. This project's going to add 20 parking spaces too, so we'll get some of those cars off the street. Plus, it made the approach even longer. And the other thing is, we're working right now. We've got JP and a couple other folks on the committee that is looking at the park dirt next door that they're actually talking now about putting the park in. And they're listening to us because the first preliminary design shows, we asked them to put in extra driveway and things, so we could actually, looks like we could have some extra parking and a little bit of a serpentine drive there for drive-through for parents for getting some of these cars off the street. So we're really looking forward to seeing that because I think that's a safety issue. The other thing at this school to note is if you go over there, and Michelle's probably seen it, they're putting in the footbridge. Have you seen the metal girders?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We've already got 3 kids from the McClellan Ranch subdivision.
Wow.
I mean, they barely even opened the sales office. So they are building a lot of homes spec and people are moving in. So we already got 3 kids out of that development. So again, once we get some of these numbers, I'm going to ship it off to the ASU demographers and show them that we were right.
It's coming sooner.
We need it quicker. So Trailside Point Roofing, again, just kind of flip through this thing. You can see the buildups that were done. This was a school facility board project. It was a hard bid. I will also tell you I have a horrible bias against a pure hard bid because you have to take the low bid. And we had some issues on this project. They did some damage in some areas they had to fix. But at the same time, we still got the roof done and we saved ourselves $1 million, but we had to go through a kind of an exhaustive process with them. And there they are with putting the AC units back up. And interestingly enough, those AC units are probably going to need to be replaced over the next 2 years coming up anyway. So this is one of those we wanted to fix. Hey, SFB, you're responsible for this. Why don't we just do it all at once? They wouldn't do it. So I think they're well-intentioned, but in practice, it created some inefficiencies, I believe. And there they are applying the sealant at the top there. It's an elastomeric type foam roof. So making it watertight. Okay, What else is going to be happening? Well, we talked about some of this stuff with the security upgrades and access, the parking lots, the David Glasser Field barrier that I'm really happy to see going up there too, keeping those balls in that field over on that side. We're looking at some security fencing on the west side of Cheatham, the floor replacement, some of these things I know we've talked about, but just, these are the things we're working on right now and pushing them forward. So with that, any other questions? We're spending some money here, guys. But the good news is we've got it in the bank so we can do this. So,
Very good.
yeah.
This is all great work, and it's, a very quick summary of some very detailed pieces of things that you and both Mr. Jacobson are working on, and I'm sure others on your team, and it's very much appreciated. As property owners in this district, it is important that our schools are kept safe and secure, but up to date on the preventative maintenance, warm and welcoming. And I would put our campuses up against any in this state. We have excellent campuses. So
Yeah.
thank you for that.
And thank you. And I'll pass that along to Robert and his crew.
Please.
The one thing I'll mention about, because I always, Donnie Rodman, when he mows the grass and you go over to these fields and you'll see it mowed, but the soccer field is always 1 inch lower, squared off. So the ball rolls better. I mean, who does that?
Donnie.
Donnie does it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Just one
Oh,
really
yes.
quick comment. I just appreciate the extra feedback about the preschool. I know pick up and drop off can be really hectic at any site. And so once preschool opens, just to continue to brainstorm and think of ideas to help that flow be smoother
Yes.
for that neighborhood.
Well, and one of the things, we are adding 2 self-contained programs, there sections. We're moving them from Levine over there for next year, but they're all going to be bused.
Right.
And they're going to be on a different time schedule, so they won't be in the flow of the school getting open.
And the preschool timeframe is different than the school hour days.
Yeah, it's offset a little bit.
So it's offset a little bit, but you still might have some consideration if there are preschoolers there. They might have siblings that are in elementary school, and parents might want to pick all of them up at the same time, which can cause some hectic issues with traffic. So things to
It
consider.
can. It can.
But thank you. I appreciate that update.
Thanks.
Did you have something to say, Dr. Sprout?
Yeah, happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. Don't spend all your Panther bucks in one place.
Okay.
That's all I have.
That's all. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank you.